Lisa, keep it short.
We're good to go.
I know.
You read those contracts, Lisa.
We're good to go.
Just doing what Patrick told me now.
Oh, well, the reason Patrick's not here, and you can tell him I said that, because he knows.
He might be watching.
To make sure you do it correctly.
I will call to order the February 21st, 2023 meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a brief moment of silence. Lisa, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would all please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here. We have a quorum. Row officers. Looking out of the audience today, we have no row officers, no representatives thereof. Public comments. Do we have any member of the public wishing to make public comment? Gail?
It's a great honor to be here with you gentlemen, know many of you and you ladies. As you know, I've announced candidacy for the position of Commissioner of Lawrence County. A long history, hope to be successful at that. I wanted to come here and see what your agendas were, where things were. Talked to Danny earlier, try to learn a little bit about what's on your mind, what's the problems, and I look forward to an interesting 6 months, 7 months ahead. So thanks for the opportunity to be here. Thanks for saying the pledge and having the prayer. I think that works well for me. Thank you very much.
And I'll reiterate just in case Ms. Lamb has anything to say, but if you have anything for public comment.
No, I don't. Thank you very much, so.
All right,
Thank you for coming, though.
Thank you.
Fiscal and contractual, we have one repository property up, it's at 128 Redwood Circle. I'll note that it has been approved by the other, approved or not acted upon by the other appropriate governing bodies. And we will make that resolution 2023-61. Any questions, comments on that?
No.
I'll take a motion. Oh, Dan, that's all.
Oh, no, go ahead, and then when I make my second,
So moved.
second, and we'll note, and it is noted on the resolution. This, it's not on the agenda, but on the resolution. This property is in Pulaski Township. Thank you for letting me note that, and I offer the second.
All right, thank you. We have motion secondly for discussion, hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
May I make one more comment,
Yes.
please? It's nice to see, and I'm sure you both made note of this, that both the municipality, the township
Yes.
of Pulaski, and the school district responded. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but in this case it did.
Well, Wilmington, this is a special occasion. We don't have any repository properties up there, so they were probably excited to get it.
Well, I want to make sure they both did approve, didn't they?
Yes.
Yes, they did. Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. We have up next warrant registers from February 16th and February 14th. Again, I'll give my colleagues a minute to check those over, and I'll take a motion to accept and file the warrant register.
So moved.
You'll have to bear with me. I'm a little bit slower today.
That's okay.
So we got that 30-minute guarantee.
With that being said, I'll second.
We got a
You
motion.
sure time wise.
That's right.
You get those $2 bills out. We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, same sign, motion carries. We have our minutes, our meeting minutes from Valentine's Day, February 14th. And again, I will take a minute to let my colleagues check those over and then take a motion to accept the minutes or make any changes as necessary to speak.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have presentation of written communications, just one today from Gateway Engineers, an MPDES permit for Sheets, Newcastle 246, which is Arebo. That's the Sheets located in both Shenango and Slippery Rock Townships out on 422. As I always do, I'll note that with these specific permits, in this case MPDES, entities undertaking certain development activities are required to report to the county if those activities are being undertaken. The Board of Commissioners does not have approval authority one way or another over whether these permits are approved. We're just required under state law to be notified when certain, in this case, an MPDES permit, when certain permits are being approved. So I'll take a motion, unless there's any questions or comments on that?
No.
I'll take a motion to accept the file correspondence.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Staff reports. We have our Director of Public Safety with us today, Chad Strobel, just for a brief report on, I can't imagine anyone could guess what this would be on.
Yeah, right.
The ongoing cleanup and train derailment in East Palestine. Chad, thank you for being here with us today.
You're welcome. Good morning. So, since the beginning of this incident, the Friday night, February 3rd, when this all began, we've been in, during the emergency phase of it, the first few days prior to the governor's releasing the evacuation order and shelter-in-place orders. We're in close contact with the emergency bureau, Environmental Protection Agency.
I apologize, forgive me. When you say the governor, do you mean the Ohio governor?
Yes, the Ohio governor, but our governor was also in close contact with him, trying to work out because it did affect 2 different states, so.
But when you, and I'm sorry to be so precise, but the evacuation order, did each governor, to your knowledge, direct such an order, or did the evacuation order come from Governor DeWine only?
The evacuation order came from Governor DeWine. We found out later that communications that were going on between Governor DeWine and Governor Shapiro took into account a possible 2-mile shelter-in-place zone. It was explained to me by the director of FEMA that the area in Lawrence County that was included in that was just farmland, so they didn't feel it was necessary to bring us into the loop on how that was going on. So there was communications between those 2 governors of the respective states, but all the orders came from Governor DeWine in Ohio.
And I apologize for interrupting you, and I appreciate you letting me do that. I probably should have waited, but I just needed to have you clarify. So I'll try not to interrupt. Thanks, Chad.
You're welcome. But during that emergency phase, up until the release of the evacuation orders, we're in close contact with Beaver County Emergency Services, Columbiana County Emergency Management, and EPA and FEMA, getting updates as far as wind directions, atmospheric conditions, anything that was coming this way. Thankfully, for the first few days of the incident, the wind was actually coming out of the north-northwest, so it's blowing everything away from us. During a controlled burn, it did shift. However, what EPA, DEP are telling us, the atmospheric conditions were right, that it took everything that was burned up pretty high, and it caught the wind and moved away. Gentlemen, we received an update from the Beaver Lawrence Farm area community. Gave us an update that in Enon Valley, Little Beaver, North Beaver, New Beaver area, that southwestern portion of the county, there were no real effects on any of the livestock and animals down there. He said there was a brief period of time during the controlled burn where there's a decrease in appetite of some of the livestock, but that picked back up. Speaking with him, our emergency management coordinators from those localities, there's been no loss in production of milk, no ongoing effects as a result of this. Sometime into it, beginning of this past week, Governor Shapiro, working with his cabinet and his administration, decided it would be best to try to answer the community's request for help and start doing soil and water testing. So far, we have not received any information if there's been any dangerous levels of chemicals found, either in the water or on the soil with the testing we're done. I'm sure down the road there'll be more reports coming out as they get more in depth, but as of right now, we have not received any word that Lawrence County has had any negative effects from this release. They still have roving monitors out, driving around the area, checking air, checking soil. They still have in-place monitors on site there, keeping track. I just saw 2 days ago that the owner of one of the businesses in East Palestine actually got his water independently tested. Everything came back perfectly. contamination. So they are monitoring it very closely. Like I said, we, at the 911 Center, Department of Public Safety, we have not received any specific calls regarding this. There's been a lot of chatter on social media about everything going on. But as far as a specific call that I had a name, address, a phone number that I can follow up with, we have not received anything at this time. So it's currently, we're clear. Everything is safe. All the information I get from the DEP, the EPA, Region 3, Region 5, our surrounding counties, our residents, we're, Lawrence County seems to be in the clear. And no current, long-term, not sure what they're gonna find, but the current conditions are favorable for us.
So I'm gonna ask a series of questions. Is the air safe in Lawrence County?
Yes, according to the information we're receiving, yes, it is.
Is the water safe in Lawrence County?
Yes, the water is safe according to what we're receiving.
And have we gotten any information back related to soil tests?
We have not, we haven't received any good or bad, just no findings as of now.
But in other words, and I'll reiterate, through communication with the relevant regulatory agencies, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the Ohio equivalent of the PADEP, all indications lead to the conclusion that our drinking water in our air is currently safe in Lawrence County and across the region.
That is correct.
Questions, comments for Director Strobel?
I just want to thank you, Chad. I know I have his number on speed dial. I bothered him, called him, just to, again, reassure our residents that it is being taken very seriously, that our staffing, that our emergency services, our Director of Public Safety is taking this very seriously, and they are out there in contact with the agencies, following up on anything that does happen within the county or anything that is heard. I have to say, anytime that I've text messaged you or phoned you, you have answered, you've responded, and I've been able to get back to the people that are calling me. So I appreciate that, and I thank you very much for that. There isn't an agency or a contact that I call him to casually ask, listen, I heard this, and he will tell me, EPA, DEP, the state. So I know that you're on top of that, and I thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Anything?
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with both of my colleagues. You have devoted a lot of time and energy monitoring this. You've reached out to people at higher levels and made certain that we're kept in the loop. And as you do with every other matter that comes before you, you've taken your role very, very seriously. Working at odd hours. I just want to thank you for that. One quick question. If a property owner or a resident in, let's say, Eden Valley Borough or Little Beaver Township or that region, if they would like to have their water supply tested, particularly if they have a private well for supply of their water, have the agencies given a phone number that they can be reached at, or?
We shared, I don't have it right with me, but I have shared on social media, I've shared it out to the coordinators. There is a DEP number they contact, the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. It's the southwest region that is heading that up. Northwest Regional Office in Meadville would be able to assist too, but the Southwest Regional Office, I believe they're down in the waterfront area, is heading up that task for local, and they're sharing independent companies and their resources that can assist them setting that up. But if you can't get a hold of anybody, feel free to call us. Our phone number is 724-658-7485, or our non-emergency number, the dispatch center.
653-9300.
656-9300, and we'll arrange the communication there.
You make an interesting point, and I think Commissioner Boyd may have touched on it as well. Lawrence County is in the region for DEP that comes out of Meadville. Beaver County, on the other hand, as you just said, they're located in the Pittsburgh area. So we have two different DEP regions. Now they ultimately filter up to the state, but we are dealing with two different DEP regions.
It was unique. We're 3 different states, 2 different DEP regions, 3 different FEMA regions. two different EPA regions. We have Region 3, Region 5, as far as the federal government. We have the Northwest and Southwest Regional DEP, Beaver County, Lawrence County, Columbia County, Ohio, Pennsylvania. So there's a lot of separation. There's a lot of parts that have, some stake in this incident. And arranging that communication, it was difficult at the beginning, but it's streamlined a lot and the communication's a lot better.
Thank you again so much.
So let me just add this, so in the event that there was some type of conspiracy going on, because of the amount of agencies involved with the different states and the regions, the odds of any type of conspiracy hiding any information is none.
Correct, it's
Too
very
many,
low,
right,
and they're bringing independent companies in, not government agencies. The people that are testing water are independent. I can't remember the name of the one I've seen on there, but there's multiple different companies that are actually doing the testing. It's not the EPA or DEP doing the testing, it's a third party, so.
thank you for that.
One of the things that brings me great solace after having experienced this job is it could be 5 people sitting in our conference room, and if it's something notable, within 30 minutes, Debbie Walker's calling which one of us. So,
Yep.
Ms. Leo, I believe you had a question.
But I know I was supposed to wait till the end, but while he's here, I just, my friends live right in East Palestine. And when they say just farmland, I'm insulted. These people depend on their farmland for their living. My friends own 21 horses, and when they're told to bring in bottled water to take care of their horses.
He wasn't speaking East
No, I know,
Palestine.
I know,
Okay, please clarify that,
I know,
yes.
oh, I know, I'm just
Okay.
wanting, when you said just farm, I'm just wanting you to know what my friends are going through over there. And I don't want it to come to Lawrence County. These people are afraid that they're not gonna be able to sell their milk or their chicken or their beef. And the CEO from the railroad, when they asked him if he was sure there was no contamination under there, when they put that dirt down, which my friend's son hauled in and had to be very careful, that CEO said, no, I did not say there was no contamination under that dirt. He specified that. And those people over there are scared. And I'm so glad that I'm here. I didn't have any idea you were being here, but I'm so glad you're here to test and make sure that our people here in Lawrence County are taken care of. Because it's very sad when they have little kids with rashes and they're scared to death. And maybe the kid has a rash because he didn't want to go to school, but it's very scared over there. So I just wanted to thank you for what you're doing and making your number available to everybody. I really appreciate that because I'm scared for my friends too.
Oh, I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. And my family, we have 6 horses. I grew up working on a farm. My father grew up working on a farm. We understand the agricultural importance of this area. And, like I said, to this point, we haven't received any information as to an adverse effect on the livestock for Lawrence County.
Right,
Beaver County may have something different. East Palestine definitely has
right.
a different situation, but, as far as Lawrence County, we appreciate the importance of the agriculture community. It's the majority of our land is
Right.
agricultural.
And I thank you very much for what you're doing.
You're welcome.
I'm glad I was here. Thank you all for letting me speak.
Thank you. Chad, thanks for coming in.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
all the work you're doing.
You're welcome.
You are welcome to take off if you've got other things to attend to. I imagine.
Later, well, hang out, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, up next, we have the official reports and comments. Dan, you're on deck.
Well, in light of the time, and we've covered a very important issue, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Loretta?
Same thing here, that was the most important thing to get across was that report.
Absolutely. Only thing I'll note is the transition process for me is moving. It's moving along expeditiously. I talked to 3 of the 4 judges this morning. They are taking applications to fill the balance of my unexpired term through the end of the month. And from there, we'll be conducting a series of interviews on who will be replacing me over the course of the next 8 to 9 months. But that's moving along very smoothly. And it's in the judge's capable hands at this point in time. Just wanted to reiterate, anybody that has an interest in applying for that can do so by sending a letter of interest and a resume to Judge Motto, which will then be distributed among the other judges. Up next, we have Lisa with JPO, and these all say CYS. I assume you're either all or some of them.
They are both a combination JPO and CYS
Yep.
contracts, and we share contracts with them.
Yep.
In the interest of time, I'm going to be very general
You're the
with you,
best.
all if you'd like.
You're the best.
We appreciate your expertise in these
Yeah,
arenas,
so,
yes.
you know, contract by contract.
Who would
I'll
bring-
generalize it.
Bring them to us if they weren't worthy of consideration.
So all of these contracts in front of you today, two of them are actually new contracts that were somehow or other missed when we redid all of our contracts at the beginning of the year. That would be for Edmund L. Thomas Center. They run a secure detention and shelter care facility located in Erie. And Taylor Diversion Programs, they also have shelter and residential facility programs. We have yet to use them as a provider, but we'd like to be able to have them as, on our service matrix for availability. The other three contracts, George Junior Republic, Cornell, Abraxas, and Pathways are all amended because they have added new facilities, new programming. So George Junior added a secure detention facility. Cornell, Abraxas, we had somehow or other missed 2 levels of programming on the contract where we had a cost rate. So those are being included as well for this. And Pathways also recently opened a new shelter care facility. So our biggest thing is that we are expanding our service matrix so that we can assist local law enforcement when they get stuck with a juvenile and to be held beyond their 6 hours of time that they are allowed to have, so that we can find a facility that we're able to house those juveniles.
Any questions, comments?
No,
No, thank you.
thank
Doc.
you.
Thank you. Unless there's any objections, we'll take all of these together. I'll take a motion for resolution 62 through 66.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. This is just an authorization and certification form for our hazard mitigation grant program, which is managed through both the Department of Public Safety and the Department of Planning, largely through our Alan Miller, who moonlights as our GIS guy, among other things. But this just gives, I believe, me authorization to execute this on behalf of the county. Questions, comments on that? We do this annually or biannually. Hang on. 67. Take a motion.
So moved.
Second, the motion second, any further discussion, hearing none. Question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 68 is just a CDBG amendment. We got a little less revenue than anticipated for one of our years, and so as a result, we're just decreasing our proportional expenses by that amount of revenue reduction. Questions on that?
No.
I'll take a motion on 68.
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
69, as we know, the human services agencies, from time to time, the needs in our community differ from the needs projected from in our community. When the budget's being drafted, this is one of those instances. And so we're just moving money from our EI program, or no, we're actually not. We received more money, which is even better. So we're increasing our EI program, increasing our EI base to account for additional dollars. So this offsets our little CYS decrease. Questions, comments on that?
No.
Hearing none, I'll take a motion on 69.
So moved.
Second. Motion second, any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And lastly, we're just moving some money from planning contingency to planning advertising to cover a bid request for bid advertising for our established bike trail repairs. Questions, comments on that?
No.
I'll take a motion on administrative transfers.
So moved.
Second. The motion second, any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next commissioners meeting will be held Tuesday, February 28th, at 10 a.m. in the commissioners meeting room. That's a week from today. This is the second announcement. There is an opening on the Lawrence County Airport Authority. Am I missing anything? No. You got it. Beautiful. Any additional public comments at this time?
Yes, I just want, but I'll say real quick.
I want to keep my 30 minutes.
Again and again, the coming to a county commissioner meeting, you let me speak out of turn is nothing like going to a city council. You always treat everybody with respect and kindness, and I appreciate that. And shut up, Amy.
I didn't say that. Look, you said
I do.
another 2 minutes. if you want.
That's okay. Never mind. I got it said. I got
Thank you.
No,
Thank you for coming.
it's always good to have any member of the public with us. You know, at the end of the day, I know I'm speaking for my colleagues when I say we work for you. And so it's certainly our mission and our policy to treat every resident who comes through these doors to a public commissioner meeting.
yes.
So long as they give us respect, we will give them respect in return. Any additional public comments? Seeing none, I will adjourn the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. I don't think it's too hard to roll fall off. I broke the gavel, so I gotta give whoever comes next a new gavel.
Can you Google it?
Was it just accident?
I was just accidental.
What Google? Can you, could you Google it?
No, I'm gonna.
You're gonna get it,
I'm gonna
okay.
get somebody, whoever,